So today I'm going to show you guys how to stipple your own ceiling, all right? And there's part of a series we're going to come up with. We're going to show how to remove it and how to paint it and everything else later. But first I got to spray a ceiling, so I figured might as well make a video about it. I know the whole world is in a trend right now, oh, we all want a flat ceiling, but can we all just be real honest for a minute? How many of us are good enough with the drywall that we can get away with doing a skim coat? Yeah. Truth is, the reason they invented stipple ceiling is because in a lot of houses, the way the light comes into the house, the drywall work just looks atrocious no matter what you do. That's why the world's full of texture, because it covers a multitude of sins. Now, unless you're going to spend hundreds and hundreds of hours to trying to make everything perfect and sand it and prime it and check it and sand it and prime it and check it, you might be disappointed with your attempt to make your ceilings flat. So here we go. We're going to show you how to cover that up with a stipple. All you're going to need is some plastic, some tape, a couple of other tools. We're going to run through this process real quick. I've sprayed hundreds of ceilings in my career, and yep, everybody say the same thing. I wish I didn't have stipple ceilings. And then they try to take it off and they go, I wish I never touched my ceiling. So I have to use a super lightweight plastic that's 10 feet tall because of the height of my ceiling. This one comes in a package on a 25-foot roll. 2 little packages will do most rooms, okay? So keep that in mind. The easiest way to do this is just start opening it all up. And then, honestly, I've tried this both ways. I've tried taping first and then taping with the plastic, and it just seems to be a real big pain in the butt no matter what you do. As long as your plastic is all opened up before you start, you're going to be okay. I think most people can tape it as they go. The reason we use the lightweight plastic, guys, is because when you start spraying the texture, a lot of it ends up on this plastic wall, and it's wet, and it gets heavy. And if you have heavy plastic, and then you have a heavy wet texture on the plastic starts to peel off the wall before you finish spraying the ceiling. And then your spray goes everywhere, and you spend a week cleaning up your house. To make this simple, we're gonna start off with a few pieces pre-cut, okay? Something manageable, half and half. Okay, tape right up in the corner, right against that ceiling line. And you can be a little bit merciful here, because after I'm done getting the first few pieces of tape on, I'm going to come back and tape that edge perfectly clean. This really is about precision, but at first we just want to get the tape on the wall to hold the plastic in place. Oh, there we go, too tight. So once you get it done where it's hanging, then we worry about precision up to the ceiling. Okay, now in this case, it's better to be just a little bit below the ceiling gap or flush. Do your best not to get the tape on the ceiling, okay? When you're spraying a texture, the texture will fill the gap if you leave a little bit of a gap to the ceiling, so don't worry about it. I'm gonna move my ladder now. All right. If you're not happy, just keep on adding tape until you're happy. There's really no two words around it. At the end of the day, this line is going to show. So make sure you're happy with what you see. Let's do the other wall. Now we got our kill zone set up. We're ready to just move away with the next step is remove light fixtures. Don't just go and get a garbage bag and bag it up, because light fixture is going to be in the way of the spray texture. You're going to get a pattern. And if you have to start walking around the room, your equipment's going to get filthy, and you're going to get a weird pattern. You're going to get heavy spots and light spots. You want to have complete access to the place that you're spraying. So let's get this out of here. Situations like this, I like to use Alex Fast Dry Caulking. This stuff is good dry in 20 minutes, and I don't even need to be totally dry. I just need it set up so that the texture will hold to it. I didn't have my knife on me. There, that'll work. Now, the idea here is I got some holes, and I don't need the ceiling perfect. The reason we're doing texture is because the ceiling is not perfect already, right? Just throw a little bit of this on here. Take your trusty 5-in-1 or a 4-inch knife, straight edge, okay? Flatten it out, fill the holes, and walk away. Good, now the ceiling's prepped. The truth of it is, if you're doing new drywall, make sure you prime your drywall work with the proper drywall primer and let it dry overnight before you spray the texture. I see it all the time. There's videos of people removing the stipple or their texture, and they're left with the mud and the bare drywall, okay? That texture is applied improperly. Read the package, follow the instructions. You should have a flat painted ceiling before you put this on. So this is the product we're using. It's a medium texture finish, okay? Now, I'm just gonna open it up and I'll show you what it looks like. It's like granules in powder. When you pour it in here, it's like pouring in styrofoam balls. All the little balls sit on the top. So you gotta be careful. The instructions say a little over 5 gallons of water for a whole bag, and I don't have a pail this big, so you've gotta use your own brains to do some math backwards. We're gonna go about a third bag and just a little over 1.5 gallons of water. I don't like it as wet as they say in the bag. That's just my own personal preference. And be careful, because it does bridge in the bag and it'll come out in huge chunks. If you're not sure, get a good chunk in there and then mix it. Because what we're looking for here is called flowability. Because it's gonna go in the hopper and then the air will blow. As long as it's not so thick that it doesn't hinder its ability to flow, you'll be fine. Remember, the texture is a combination of 3 things. The mixture, how much air pressure you're bringing through the hose, and how large the hole is on the diameter of the hopper that you're using. So if you make it a little thin or a little thick, you can make adjustments with your air pressure and the holes you're using to find a way to make it work. It's not really all that crucial. Resist the temptation to just throw it on full speed. If you have a big chunk of the stuff in there, and it's gonna fly everywhere. And mixed. Yeah, I know. This is stuff that goes really quick. That's it, we're finished. We're ready to spray. I'm using my regular DeWalt compressor. You can rent a machine to do this from the local Home Depot if you want to, and the hose comes with a cute little plastic pipe on it. All you need to get is a wet rag when you're done. I'm not using any paint. There's nothing in here that stains. I don't care about your clothes. You can just throw them in the wash when you're finished, so don't get too worked up over it. You might want to wear glasses, but the idea is have the air off at the hose and then fill your hopper halfway. Okay? This is your test spray. Before you go and spray this on your ceiling, you want to practice on a wall. We're going to make sure we got a good consistency. I'm going to turn on the air and add a little trigger. I'm going to go halfway on the air. There we go. I like it. All right, time to get busy. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. You can go left to right, front and back, but what I like to do is start in the middle, work my way to a corner, get an idea for how much texture I'm getting in a certain period of time, and then adjust my spray technique according to how it's being applied. Here we go. I poured that all over myself, didn't I? When you're out shopping for your hopper, they do make one that has a turn here, so it's more in tune with shooting at the ceiling. This one, well, it's a little precarious. There we go. Just have a quick look for any dull spots. Now you can see, I made 1/3 of a bag and I put in 1/4 of the material, half of a hopper, and I got an 8x8 section of ceiling. This is why people use this stuff. This one bag would do about 12 to 1,400 square foot basement. No problem, 2 coats. Now, when you're done, pour it back out. And if you're in this business, save it to next time. Now, before I started, I put down a tarp, and I found I had some mold in the tarp because of the way I stored it. So this is my ground sheet. This is going in the garbage. If you want to cape your tarp, put a plastic sheet on the ground as well before you do the walls. And here's what it's going to do. You're going to go back right after you're done spraying. You're going to grab the plastic. I'm going to show you how to pull it down in reverse order of the way you put it up. And you're going to pull it down and roll it into itself right onto the ground. So you can roll this all up and throw it in the garbage bag, and the mess is gone instantly. We're going to roll up our corner. That can go right in the garbage. That's about it, folks. Now listen, make sure you have a stain sealed ceiling. If it's old or there's smokers or something like that, paint it with a flat oil-based primer that's a stain blocker as well. Other than that, less is more. If you find that you're not happy and you want to add more texture, you can, but it's really hard to remove extra texture after you've sprayed. So keep that in mind. Let it dry overnight before you do anything else, okay? If you want to add paint to it, you can add paint in the mixture. Same water, just take about I don't know, about 1/3 of a gallon of flat ceiling paint, put it right in there, and that'll give it a whiter appearance. The texture right out of the bag comes out a little bit beigey. Now, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I'm gonna show you things no one else is. Who's showing you how to add the texture, right? Truth is, in the videos coming up soon, we're gonna show you how to paint it properly, how to remove it, what to do if you've got painted texture on your ceiling, because you can't just scrape that sucker off. We're gonna show you all these tips and tricks coming up soon. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications and don't miss out on all the fun. If you wanna learn how to do perfect drywall finishing on your ceiling so you don't have to go to texture, you can click the link right here and I'll show you how to do drywall work. I know, it's an art, but I think with a lot of practice, you might be more surprised at how good you can be at it. Cheers till next time.